Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sofa Safari. I just want to say a very warm thank you to Foreman Matabula, who did his last drive. Foreman is a bit of a wizard when it comes to tracking. You know, he's a Shangan man. But Foreman was very kind to find us lions on a kill, so it was very cool to see those cubs feeding, and I'm sure you all enjoyed it. So this morning it's my turn once again. It is freezing. It's not a warm day today in Africa. Slowly but surely, winter is becoming more and more prevalent, and the hands are starting to burn. But yeah, we're going to head out this morning and see what we can find. So far, we've just got a little Swainson spur fowl with her baby on the road ahead of us. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the first sighting of the day, so very exciting stuff. But yeah, let's see what we can find this morning. We're going to loop around these areas. I'm sure you've all heard of Impala Dam before. We're going to go have a look there, and then a bit later we might go back towards the east to have a look at Mashutton Dam. I think Mr. Chad Cocking found some wild dogs there yesterday evening, which you'll see on one of his solo safaris. But yeah, we'd like to show you with the big camera as well. So yeah, stick around. Let's see what we find, guys. Good news, guys. We found the one and only Marula, although it's not actually Marula, it's her cub. So for Sarah Packham, we know you've been wanting to see them again, or at least him. Unfortunately, we haven't found his sister in a few weeks now. So, you know, she is a little bit more skittish or a bit nervous about the vehicles than he is. You can see he's very relaxed here this morning. He's got an Impala kill, which looks like he's been feeding on it since sometime early yesterday. So wonderful to see the youngster this morning. His name is Shisiwana, for those of you that don't know what his name is or haven't met this leopard before. And unfortunately, it's a bit of a sad name. It means orphan. And that's because his great mother, Marula, passed away, or at least we haven't seen her in probably about 6 or 7 months now. So she did leave a bit of a legacy in these two. And we know early on when we started doing Sofa Safari, there were a lot of people that were wanting to know more about Marula, more about her cubs, where they had gone, what they're up to. So it's always nice to catch up with them and to see, or at least one of them, and to see what they're up to. So yeah, great start to the morning. Beautiful up there. He's been feeding for a while. We've just been waiting for the light to get really good, or at least get usable for you all. But yeah, wonderful to see him. We're going to stick around with this leopard for a while this morning, see what he gets up to. I'm sure he will come down the tree at some point. There is a dam not too far from here, so maybe he'll go for a drink. And yeah, let's see what he gets up to. Stick around, guys. So we're just waiting for Shisiwana here to turn around and look into the sunlight for us. Of course, that means he's going to get blinded in the eyes, but hopefully he does it once or twice just so we can see his beautiful portrait in the golden hour. But looking at him from this angle, it's been quite fun. We've been able to just watch his little tail twitching there and his foot moving around every once in a while. He does have a fair bit of meat left here for a leopard of his size. I mean, he's quite young. Doesn't look like there's a lot of meat left there, but there's a rib rack and a few things to chew on. So hopefully he'll be here for a little bit longer today and then maybe go for a drink, as I said a bit earlier. So yeah, as soon as he starts doing something or turns around to look at us, we'll definitely show you that footage, guys. So yeah, stick around. Alright guys, so we had a pretty cool view there of Marula's cub Shisiwana. Beautiful with the light coming through the rib rack. I know that's a bit gory for some of us, but kitty's got to eat, you know. So, you know, when you like to eat meat and those sort of things, it doesn't look too rough at all. But yeah, he's come down the tree, and I suspect he's sort of heading towards a nearby dam, so maybe he's going to go for a drink. So we're going to follow him for a while. But yeah, just a great view watching him sort of look out of the tree there. You know, he's been looking in this direction in front of me for a while now and sort of perking up and so on. So who knows what he's been looking at. Maybe he's just been thinking about going for that drink. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be back for this kill a little bit later. We have been able to sort of ascertain now that it is a young impala ram. I can just see one of the horns sticking up. So a pretty good kill for a leopard of this age to make, you know, to definitely to take up the tree. It brings to mind the question that possibly a larger female leopard named Nialeti in this area maybe made the kill and then he stole that from her. So yeah, you know, who knows what the actual story is, but we're going to follow him for the morning and see what he gets up to. There he goes. All the birds flying around. Obviously they don't like having a leopard walking in their midst. That majestic sound that you're hearing at the moment, that wonderful melody, is coming from a bird called a helmeted guinea fowl. And the leopard just came down the tree, Shisiwana came down the tree and sort of disturbed this entire flock. And they all shot up and scattered for their lives, and now they're all sitting around and screaming and shouting. I mean, they definitely don't like seeing a leopard, especially that close to them. And I have a sneaky suspicion that he actually killed one of these guinea fowls just over here. But we just wanted to stop and quickly show you how frantic birds and animals in general can behave when a leopard walks through them. So let's go see if he's got himself a nice little chicken licking breakfast. So how cool is that, guys? We're literally watching him look out of the tree at something in the distance. We weren't, you know, sure what he was looking at. Could have been another leopard for all we know, but at the end of the day, what he was really looking at is this flock of guinea fowl that was moving through the area. And you can still hear them screaming and shouting in the background. They're not very happy about this whole situation, and rightly so. One of their flock just got eaten or killed. And the cheeky leopard did think about going straight back up his tree, which is just here behind me now, and depositing his new chicken breakfast on top of his impala dinner. But he seems to have moved a little bit further down into the shade there. He's maybe wanting to get away from the noise or from the guinea fowl that are now alarm calling at him and giving away his position. But yeah, fantastic. You just sit with these animals long enough and the magic happens. So I see he's just laid down there again, so I'm going to try get a bit closer and see if we can watch him eating his guinea fowl breakfast. And yeah, let's see what he does. So pretty cool, guys. Shisiwana has come back to his original tree. He is thinking about going up there. And if you listen carefully in the background, there's a whole pride of lions calling somewhere behind us. So we'll go look for them a bit later. Wow, that's really cool. Anyway, so we've got a leopard in front of us, lions calling behind us. Guinea fowls going crazy all over the show. And for the raptor lovers, there's even a couple of tawny eagles flying around here hoping to scavenge from Shisiwana's kills. So yeah, there seems to be a pair of them, which we'll get on the camera for you guys shortly as they make themselves available. But they're just hoping to swoop in and steal a little bit of food from Shisiwana. Maybe not steal, but rather scavenge. And tawny eagles and a lot of the smaller eagles are actually primarily scavengers. They kind of, you often see them mingling with the vultures when it comes to carcasses and things like that. They don't often hunt, or nowhere near as often as they scavenge. So yeah. Anyway, let's keep up with Shisiwana as he moves behind the trees again. He's just looking for a nice comfortable spot to eat his guinea fowl this morning. What a cool sighting, guys. So we've got Shisiwana. He's just behind this bush over here. And I don't know if you can see with the little camera, but up there is the tawny eagle. And that tawny eagle keeps trying to swoop down into the tree here where Shisiwana has his original impala kill. But every time it comes down, Shisiwana comes running back with his guinea fowl in his mouth, coming to chase the tawny eagle away from his his takeaways. So it's quite comical to watch him. He just wants to find a good spot to lie down, eat his guinea fowl and relax. But every time he gets a little bit too far away, the tawny eagle swoops in and then he has to run back, chase the tawny eagle away. And, you know, it's just this kind of cat and mouse game that's going on. It's always fascinating just to watch wildlife and the way that they interact with each other. It's probably some of the best things you can do or experience when you're on safari is wildlife interacting with each other. That's where all the sort of magical sightings come from. But yeah, it's been great to keep up with him this morning and watch him. I mean, he is a young leopard as well, so you can see that youngness coming through in him. He's getting confident, you know, he's getting a little bit cocky, but you can see he's still young and he doesn't really know how to handle the situation too well. He doesn't know where to eat, he doesn't know where he wants to eat, and he's just constantly trying to keep an eye on all these tawny eagles that are trying to steal his dinner. So I'm going to move around that side of the bush now and see if we can get a good view of him eating again. And hopefully a tawny eagle comes to hassle him some more, because it is funny. But yeah, let's move around. Finally feeling confident to lie down behind that grass there and start eating. He's only about 4 or 5 yards away from his tree where his killer's lying. And so yeah, he keeps looking around, making sure those pesky tawny eagles don't come and harass him anymore. So yeah, he's also, you know, as I say, he's young, he's not fully grown yet. He has to be cautious, you know. He did hear the lions calling a bit earlier in the area. There may very well be another leopard around, hyenas around. So when you are a solitary leopard, life is a fairly tricky thing. It's dangerous everywhere you go. You've got to watch your back. And there he goes, he's getting up again. Gonna find somewhere more appropriate to eat his breakfast. So yeah, but you do have to be very careful when you're all by yourself. There's no one watching your back, so to say. And so you have to watch your own back while at the same time watching, you know, where you're going and where you're eating your dinner. So yeah, I don't think we're going to spend too much more time with him. He's moving just through the bushes over there now. You know, let's rather just leave him in peace for the morning. He's given us a wonderful sighting, eating the impala, the sun coming up, you know, killing a little guinea fowl, interacting with the tawny vultures. It's been a great morning so far with Shisiwana, but I think we're going to leave him here for the morning. I'm sure he'll stick around for the rest of the day, but let's see what else we can find this morning. Those lions we're calling, so maybe we'll just loop around there and see if they pop out for us, maybe the little cubbies. And there's still some flowers I'd like to talk about for some people. There's some trees I'd like to talk to you about today, and of course tracks, because people have been asking for tracks as well. So yeah, stay tuned guys, let's see what we can find. Alright, so we were on the lookout for the entire pride, the river pride with all the cubs. They were definitely all roaring, but as a consolation prize we have bumped one of the Naru males. He's by himself, but hey, who doesn't want to check out a big male lion enjoying the sunlight in the morning? It was cold this morning, so I'm sure all the lions are out and about lying in the sun. You know, they also want to warm up just like we do. When you could see Brit this morning, like 3 blankets on her, a jersey, a beanie, gloves. It works, you know, so the lions are feeling fairly similar to that. So let's see if we can get some good light on him and show you guys what he looks like this morning. Right, so we've got some good light. Just been taking a few photos of this guy, and now that we have the good light, I can actually see that this is the one that has the cut in his nose. So he's, for those of you that have been following us for a while, he's one of the 2 that are often seen together. You know, there's that third guy with the limp who's not always with the other 2. So yeah, this is that one with that cut nose. He probably got that cut nose in a fight, maybe with another male, but it also could have been from a female, you know, from the mating ritual that takes place. Oh, a bit of a yawn. And a bit of a contact call as well. So let's see what he does. That little, you know, it's not a full-on call. What he's trying to do is just see if he can contact lions, other lions of his pride or his coalition in the area. And we call it a contact call, just a very soft awareness call, if you will. Whereas the big roar is more to demarcate territory, to show dominance and strength, and so on. This is just a little, hello, anyone there? But yeah, as I was saying about that nose, he probably got that in a fight with another male, but it could have been from a female. Often when males are mating with females, it tends to be a painful experience. If you remember Chad's talk on this from a few episodes ago or a few weeks ago. And what that leads to is a female often, you know, rearing back and slashing at the male or trying to bite at the male, and he may have got hooked on the nose from that. But my money is probably on it coming from a fight, you know, with a different male lion. But we're not going to spend too much time with him this morning. We do want to see if we can find the rest of the pride. But if he does anything interesting, we'll definitely keep the camera on him. Not quite baby lions, but we've got some giant pachyderms on the left-hand side here. Wonderful to see some elephants in the area again. I don't know if you remember me saying a few episodes ago that at this time of year we start to see less and less elephants, and then all of a sudden loads of elephants start coming back into the area. So hopefully this is just the start of that, and hopefully over the next couple of months as we go into winter we have an astronomical amount of elephants coming through the area that we can enjoy on just about every road you take. So let me try and get a bit closer, and let's enjoy them for the morning. Right, so here they are guys, this nice rather big herd of elephants moving through the area. I haven't had a chance to count them yet, but it looks like probably about between 20 and 30 if I look all the way towards the back. There's lots of grey things moving over there. But yeah, a nice breeding herd moving through the area. In fact, given the size of this herd, it might be 2 breeding herds that have come together, you know. And generally elephants, there's a little baby. Hey buddy. Generally elephants will move around in these breeding herds of maybe 15 individuals. There's no hard number that I can quote you on there, but call it on average 15 sort of individuals. And that breeding herd will be one part of what we call an elephant clan, or a much larger extended related family. So on occasion those extended families, you know, sort of it's kind of like us, you know, with your immediate family going to visit your auntie or uncle and seeing all your cousins. Those 2 different sort of breeding herds will come together and they have a bit of a party with each other. They enjoy each other's company for a few hours, maybe sometimes a few days. And on quite rare occasions you actually get the entire clan, which can be 5-6 herds that have come together, and you can have sort of 80 to 100, maybe even 150 elephants in one general area. And when you see that sort of thing, it really is awe-inspiring. To see that many elephants together is a very, very special thing. And I still rate that You know, when you have that 100 elephant sighting, is probably my favorite sighting of all time. That sort of sighting that we do occasionally get, just because there's so much going on. There's babies, there's full-grown females, there's often a pesky male who's throwing a spanner in the works and just getting in everyone's way and irritating the girls. So it is usually a beautiful situation to come across. So just a little bit taller than the grass is that baby elephant there. Very sweet. They're always wonderful when they're this age. And I'd say that elephant is, that baby is probably within a month of age, so maybe a really small guy. It might even be the baby elephant that we saw, if you remember that episode where we found the birthing site of an elephant. Maybe this is him. I mean, it's a long shot, but hey, a cool little dream to think about, or, you know. Yeah, but yeah, baby elephant, just usually tall enough to suckle from mom. And remember, elephants' teats or mammary glands are found between their forearms, which is a very, very peculiar thing, a very special thing. And the going theory behind that is it's actually a bonding agent between mom and baby, so, you know, closer to their heartbeat, very similar to human beings, you know, and other primates. So we often find large herbivores will suckle from the back, you know, from more like an udder sort of thing. Elephants have mammary glands between the forearms, and that brings the baby closer to the head of mom, closer to her heartbeat. And yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. Maybe it just helps them bond with each other a bit more, keeps it safer as well underneath mom and away from danger. But yeah, usually just tall enough to get to that suckling point. So it's usually very sweet, and you see the trunk will curl back while the baby suckles. Unfortunately, it's not doing it now, but maybe if we sit here long enough, it will. Believe me, when you're on safari, one of the best things in the world is to be surrounded by a herd of elephants. Just the noises they make, the smells they produce, the intimacy of the herd that goes on around you, and, you know, the tactile greeting of each other and so on. But at the moment, this herd is just so beautifully and peacefully feeding through the bushveld here. It's a wonderful thing to spend time with them. And I don't think there's any animal on the planet that makes you feel as in the present as elephants do. There's not a worry in the world when you're with elephants. Your entire conscious is focused on what they're doing and what they're up to. It's a I don't want to say spiritual, but it is. It's one of those things that nature does to all of us. You know, if you're a nature lover, you do feel these things, and I don't get it from anything else as much as I do from elephants. It's wonderful. We've got a nice big bull coming in on the left hand side here. He's just ghosting the herd. He'll come into frame shortly. We'll get him in frame, so don't worry, he's still quite far away. But you often find that you get these breeding herds moving along, and then maybe a bull or two, some of the big boys will be following in their footsteps. And the reason for that is he's hoping to come right with a lucky lady that might be emitting pheromones, giving him the assumption that there's someone on each hill and each. Yeah, let's see if he comes closer. We'll get him in frame when we can. The birds you hear calling in the background are fork-tailed drongos, that high-pitched once it's landed by the male elephant. We watch what he does. What this bird does, or what fork-tailed drongos do in general, is they follow large herbivores around. They're also known to follow human beings around when we're walking around this environment. The reason being is, as we walk through, or as the elephant walks through, more so with the elephants in fact, of course, we kick up insects and bugs out of the grass, and that allows these birds to capitalize on that. So it's a very clever tactic that they've come up with. But yeah, the fork-tailed drongo, very common bird. I'm going to pull up a little bit more. Let's keep up with these ellies. Here they all come. I had to move out of the road a little bit there because we had all the moms and the babies wanting to come down the road, much to the delight of Brit, who has a bit of a elephant phobia. Don't worry, love, you'll be okay. But yeah, they're just peacefully moving through. You always have to be careful with elephants, you know, show them respect, give them space, and make sure that you're doing your part to keep it a peaceful, beautiful sighting. They are a very big animal, and they can on occasion get a little bit aggressive, and you know, just because of their size, that's a fairly terrifying thing. But yeah, they just came down now. It may have looked like they were running as they came past me here, but it's usually, you know, when elephants go downhill, they're trying to break 3, 4, 5 tons of weight, you know, so it makes them look like they're on a bit of a jog, when really they're just trying to slow themselves down. Nice to see them just moving across onto the other side of the riverbed, looking for some shady feeding grounds, and a little bit of noise going on over there. One's busy chasing a kudu. You can hear the they make some phenomenal sounds, old elephants. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave them there for the day. It's been a wonderful sighting with them. We've spent about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes with this herd of elephants. They're all moving up into the bushes now. I'm not going to subject Brit to the terrifying elephant encounters anymore. So yeah, let's move on for the morning. Let's see if we can find some cool tracks. I'm still looking for a nice track for you all to explain. Maybe a cool tree. So yeah, stick around. Bye, elephant. Alright, so we've stopped. I promised you all a few tracks, and this particular track that I'm about to show you now is specifically for Megs Donati and Julie Armandares. I hope I'm saying that right, Julie, so please forgive me. But ladies, you guys requested that we show you some hippos, and while we have shown a few hippos, particularly Harry the hippo, in a lot of our sofa safaris, I thought I'd stop and show you what Harry's track looks like. So for those of you that are looking for some more tracks, here we go. And for Julie and Megs, this is the closest we're going to get to hippo today, but we'll definitely try and find you another hippo, grumpy hippo, maybe a yawning hippo. You know, they are quite fun to spend some time with. But yeah, this is a hippo track here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my very accurate stick over here, and it's always good when you are tracking, you know, don't throw them away, but when you are looking at tracks, to get a little stick, because it just allows you to circle where the track is. So we're looking at a track over here. I'm going to circle quite wide around the back there because that's his movement. But if you have a look, you can see one toe there. All right, then we have a toe coming up like that, and then down the middle. So we have this sort of split toe there, and then you have the other toe over here. So this is a 4-toed animal, and it is a very big animal as well. It's an interesting foot, because it is very similar to a rhino. So where you see the 2 toes going on over here with a hippo, a rhino just has simply one big toe on the side, one big toe on the side, and then a really big toe at the front. So interestingly enough, a rhino only has 3 toes, but a hippo just has that main toe there split down the middle. So they are very similar in their foot structure, interestingly enough. But yeah, this is a nice big hippo. He's going that way, obviously. Remember what I said a few weeks ago, when you're looking at tracks, always look for the sharpest point of the track. That will give you the direction that the animal's been going. And you can see that he was just quite lazily moving along here because of that sort of where he's sort of you know, as like a lazy teenager, if you will, not picking up his feet very well. Although when you weigh like 3 tons, it's probably a little bit tricky to pick your feet up entirely. But yeah, he's going that way. Right, then we've had a few people asking how you tell how old a track is and things like that, and so on. This track was probably left here, you know, maybe not last night, the night before. It is somewhat fresh, not that fresh. I mean, you can see the wind has blown over this one here, and one of the other good things to look for is, you know, if you walk down the track, you can see a vehicle drove over one half there. It wasn't me either. And whenever you are looking at tracks, always look if other animals have walked on top of that. All right, there's a lot of animals out here. There's squirrels, there's mongoose, there's impala. These are things that are all over the roads all the time. And so when you see a squirrel track on here, then you know that that hippo track is older than that squirrel, which was probably moving around a lot more recently, because squirrels are just all over the show, or impala are all over the show. So that's one of the best ways to tell. I mean, often if we're on a tracking a lion or a leopard or something, and we find an impala track on top of the leopard tracks and then a squirrel track on top of the leopard tracks a little bit further on, we know it's really not very useful to follow up, because that leopard probably walked there a bit too long ago. But yeah, the humble hippo has walked here. I don't know if it's Harry. It probably is. He's out and about all over the show. He was actually in our camp dam a few days ago, so he is sort of ruling over his kingdom. He's just about the only hippo we have in this immediate area, so he's got a pretty good, pretty sweet pad to try and attract the ladies into. but it doesn't ever seem to really work for him. But yeah, Megs, Julie, I hope you guys enjoyed that little hippo track for you. Big track. I mean, if I put my hand on there, you can see he is a big creature. So yeah, going up that way. I mean, you have to have quite big feet in order to support that 2.5-3 tons of weight. And it's also quite nice when you find hippo tracks going through the bush. You know, all these animals, they leave game paths. Most notably the rhinos. You can often see there's just this big track going straight down. But that's because the rhinos' feet are quite close together. So they leave this beautiful thick track going all the way, whereas hippo's feet are quite far apart, and so you often find what looks like a four-wheeler has driven through there. It's like a little mini two-track, little mini vehicle has driven through the area, and he's left two sides of the road. But yeah, hippo track, everybody. Let's move on. This one is for you, Thelma Manning. You've been requesting us to show you some warthogs over the last few weeks, and you know, unfortunately in the Timbavati we don't have that big of a population of the cute little piggies. But this is a very local female to Tandatula. She often brings her piglets onto our lawn to feed there, especially during the winter months as the bush starts to dry up. But always nice to spend time with a couple of the piggies. They are tremendously cute. A lot of people think they're a little bit horrible looking, but you know, how could you hate a face like that? It's just so sweet. This female does have one of her piglets just here off into the right hand side in the long grass, who got a little bit scared when we pulled up next to them. So yeah, shame, bless him. But this is where we're going to be signing off for the morning, guys. So Thelma, I hope you've enjoyed seeing a couple of piggies. I really have, and such a beautiful one at that. But yeah, folks, have a fantastic day wherever you are. Enjoy your coffee, your gin and tonic, whatever it is that you're having, your snacks, and stay safe out there, guys, wherever you can. Until next time, see ya.